Hello everybody, Aiden here, and welcome to another video here today on the Around the Slice YouTube channel. So quickly, slight change of plans from what I said earlier this week on my all-rookie team video. I am pushing back my all-pro team picks video and as well as my personal NFL awards ballot video to next week. And instead, as is tradition I like to do every year, whether it's on or off camera, this year on camera, obviously, I'm going to be giving you my 2025-26 NFL Wild Card Weekend Power Rankings, which is pretty straightforward. We're going to go in reverse order, ranking all 14 playoff teams from 14 to 1. It goes without saying, but number 14 is who I think is the weakest team heading into the playoff field / wild card weekend right now in my eyes. Number 1, exactly who I think is the best playoff team right now in my eyes as a whole, offense, defense, special teams, all that. So without further ado, let's dive right in. At number 14, so reverse order 14 to 1, like I said. At number 14, I'm sure this is everyone's number 14 because like they clearly stand out as the worst team. I unfortunately have the Carolina Panthers. I'm going to say this right off the bat. Let's be honest here, guys. The Panthers only made the playoffs at 8 and 9 because it's the NFC South and it's a joke of a division. The Buccaneers completely fell apart. The Falcons got hot down the stretch, but they just fired their head coach. And the Saints, well, they're the Saints, although I like their direction with Tyler Shuck. But the Panthers, like Bryce Young in the playoffs, no clue how that will go. When he's playing bad defenses, he's good. But when he's under pressure, literally and figuratively, he can't get the job done. Very, very limited mobility and athletically, and like not physically gifted whatsoever, unfortunately. So I don't know how that will go. And outside of Ted McMillan, I don't really like their set of weapons. Like Jalen Coker makes some nice plays here and there. It's a second-year UDFA out of Holy Cross. Xavier Legette should have never been a first-round pick to begin with. I wasn't a fan of him as a prospect. Late breakout age at South Carolina. Didn't do anything till the 6th year there, but nonetheless, I'm not a fan of that. Like Rico Dowdle really got hot towards the middle of the season. In the last couple of months of the season, he really struggled and really fell down. They like Chuba Hubbard as the pass catching back there, but neither of them are really efficient. And then flipping over to the defense side of the ball, I like a couple pieces in their secondary. I like Trayvon Mullen get safety. They line him up all over the place. I like J.C. Horn. He's a true, when healthy, top 5 shutdown corner, all-pro caliber corner in the NFL, might I add you. And I like a couple of their pass rushers, but there's nothing established. Like Nick Scorton and Prince Umanmielen especially really got hot, really made some nice flashes here and there the last few weeks of the season down the stretch here over the last few weeks. But nothing as a collective that's established. So unfortunately, I do have the Panthers at number 14, and they only got in because of the joke that the NFC South is. I'm sorry, that's just what I think. At number 13, I have the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, if Aaron Rodgers I think this is Aaron Rodgers last year in the NFL. He's torn around with, well, maybe I'll come back to the Steelers if Mike Tomlin stays. Well, maybe I'll come back to the Steelers as a bridge QB and maybe draft or sign someone like a Malik Willis or draft a Ty Simpson or somebody, although he's fallen down the board, so maybe not. But that's just a slight example. I like Steelers defense. Although they're old and slow, they have been improving. Old in terms of like athleticism and slow and all that. They have been improving over the last 2 weeks. I really like their defensive line. TJ Watt, obviously stud. Cam Hayward, for as old as he is, stud. Keanu Benton, 3rd year, run-stuffing nose tackle, and surprisingly good pass rusher. And then Derek Harmon, not very good against the run, but specialized pass rusher at the defensive tackle position. So they have a nice rotation there. And in the secondary, I like Kyle Duggar coming along. They've traded for him from the Patriots. Jabril Peppers is a nice special teamer / depth safety, but their secondary as a whole is kind of old and slow. Like, obviously, they have Joey Porter Jr., Jalen Ramsey. I've always said he's kind of overrated. And this year, he's really showing his age. I think he's 30, about to be 31, so that's not very good. But and then their offense, yeah, they get the job done by running the ball with Jaylen Warren and Kenneth Gainwell. And I know DK Metcalf was suspended the last couple weeks of the season for that whole interaction with the Lions fan. But, I mean, first of all, you can't do that with the fan. But second of all, even when DK was perfectly healthy and not suspended for 15 out of the 17 weeks of the season, him and Rodgers just, I mean, they're using him as a dump and run guy. He's the gunner on special teams. They're not using him downfield. Low ADOT, which is average depth of target. They're trusting him to go run after catch to their screens and everything. They're not explosive. Now, outside of Metcalf, like, it's just a patchwork receiving corps. Like Rowan Wilson can't even get a game day jersey, let alone get on the field. They have MVS who he's open, but Rodgers overshoots him every time. It feels like they have Adam Thielen, whatever that skeleton is at this point. I'm sorry, that's just what I feel. I don't know. It's very weird. And then they have this weird tight end rotation with Johnny Smith, Darnell Washington, Pat Frymuth. But Darnell Washington fractured his hand. He's out for the year. So I don't know what's going on there. I like their defense. It's steadily improved over the season, although their secondary is kind of a lot to be desired. I think their strength is the defensive line. I think if they're going to win, their defensive line will have to show up. I think TJ Watt will have to be like purely dominant because I don't think he's been purely as dominant as like he has to be dominant as hell if they want to win a playoff game or two. So that's my thing. And I think you can't put everything on TJ Watt, and their offense is really sluggish and slow. But that's what happens when you have a 42-year-old quarterback in Aaron Rodgers. Slightly improving here at number 12. I have the Los Angeles Chargers. This is really not career defining per se because Justin Herbert's been around for quite a few years now, but he has Jim Harbaugh. They run the ball really well with Marion Hampton when he came back healthy. But he's 0-2 in the playoffs, and unfortunately, I think he might be 0-3. We'll discuss that in my picks video later on for wildcard weekend. Sorry, but I mean, they're starting Bobby Hart at one tackle spot and Trey Pipkins at the other tackle spot. They've basically gone all season without Rashawn Slater and half the season without Joe Alt. And I mean, Justin Herbert has no protection back there. Justin Herbert, very athletic, very mobile, howitzer for an arm. Yeah, and then I think I think Jesse Minter is a phenomenal defensive coordinator. And prediction here, I think he'll be a head coach in the next week or so, a couple weeks at the very least. But I think Jesse Minter coaches above his personnel because, like, defensive line is just okay. Secondary, in my opinion, is just okay. Obviously, Derwin James Bowie's a lot there, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, for weapons, Len McConkey's still awesome, but Quentin Johnston hasn't done anything since the end of September, early October. Same with Keenan Allen. Rondé Gasson had those 3 blow-up games in November around there, but hasn't really done anything since. How will a day 3 rookie pick do in the playoffs? I just don't know. So, unfortunately, I want to put the Chargers higher, but I just can't because their fatal flaw is the offensive line. I mean, Herbert literally can't do anything, can't even move back there. Not his own fault because of the weak upside injuries. At 11, my brother's a Packers fan, so if he hears this video, sorry. But at number 11, I have the Green Bay Packers, unfortunately. I think they would be a top 5 or 6 team in the playoffs. Just a couple of months ago, they were true playoff contenders. But their weapons, I think, are fine. Matthew Golden barely plays, but he's nothing really special to begin with. I really like the 1-2 punch that the Packers have with Josh Jacobs and Emmanuel Wilson at running backs. I think that is the key. I really like Jordan Love. I really think he's a borderline MVP candidate. Maybe not, though, because you just missed a couple of games with a concussion, and they rest their starters week 18. Malik Willis can do it at backup. Their receivers, I think, are fine for what they are. They don't have a true guy, but I really like Christian Watson. I decently – my dad loves Romeo Dobbs. For me personally, take it or leave it. And then Jaden Reed, unfortunately, I don't think he's nothing more than a gadget guy. He's like a Deebo Samuel light, maybe glorified at this point because Deebo is nothing anymore. But ever since they lost Micah Parsons, that defense has been torn to shreds, literally and figuratively. When Micah Parsons was on the field, Rashawn Gary was dominant because specifically, was getting so many double teams. That left a lot of easier and free rushing lanes for Rashawn Gary. Get to the QB, boom. But now everyone's elevated. Everyone's double teaming Rashawn Gary. He's not having much success. Really, Kingsley Enagbare is ideally a specialized pass rusher, but now he has to be that second guy with all that attention on him. He's not really doing anything. Lucas Van Ness hasn't really panned out as a former first-round pick a couple weeks ago. And then their secondary, I love their safeties. Love Xavier McKinney, Javon Bullard, Evan Williams, Keaton Oladapo, ton of depth there. But their corners, like, they're all best in the slot. Nate Hodge, best in the slot. Keyshawn Nixon, best in the slot. They don't really have any reliable outside corners, but I mean, they just like athletes out there and not really like guys that have like good ball skills or good coverage ability. They're going to have to address that for sure. I don't know. The Packers just a couple months ago, they were 2 Super Bowl contenders. I don't think they are anymore. And number 10, funny enough, this is the game this weekend, tomorrow, meaning Saturday, January 10th. Yeah. I had the Chicago Bears at number 10. I really love what Ben Johnson has done there. I really love what Caleb Williams has done there. I really love the 1-2 punch of DeAndre Swift and Kyle Monangai. Well, I shouldn't say love because I've never really been that big of a fan, like, at all whatsoever of DeAndre Swift. But hand up. He proved me wrong for sure. And that defense, I think it's overachieved. The run defense is pretty terrible, although I do like Grady Jarrett as a veteran in the middle. I really like how Gravon Dexter's coming on from Florida a few years ago. Their secondary, I think, is really underrated. Kyler Gordon is back in the slot. Cedric Gardner-Johnson is kind of a specialized third safety role there. Kevin Byard, resurgent veteran. Jaquan Brisker, I think, is underrated. I really love Jalen Johnson. Nashawn Wright is at a true breakout year, although he's kind of feast or famine. Like, he's either getting a pick or torched for a big game. It's kind of like the Trayvon Diggs thing a few years ago. So, yeah. I think they have an underrated defense. But unfortunately, in the playoffs, in the cold weather in Chicago, what you need most is run defense. I unfortunately think their run defense is pretty terrible. So I have them at number 10. But I really like how I talked about this in my old rookie team video earlier this week. I really love how they're utilizing their rookies. DJ Moore is whatever now, but Luther Burden getting a ton more playing time. Colson Loveland getting a ton more playing time. And I don't think Rome Odunze will be back at any time this postseason with the stress fracture. But if he is, you can get him along nicely there. So we'll see how Caleb Williams secure in the NFL first year in the playoffs, but I really love how his offensive line has protected him as well. So we'll see. At number 9 in these wildcard weekend power rankings, continuing along, I have the Houston Texans. The reason I didn't have them higher than this, some of you might, but some of you might say the Texans are a dark horse Super Bowl contender. Sure, elite defense. I mean, playmakers all over the place. Daniil Hunter, Will Anderson, best pass rush duo in the NFL. Kamari Lassiter, Derek Stingley Jr., best corner duo in the NFL. Kalen Bullock, Jalen Petre, arguably the best safety duo in the NFL. You see where I'm going here? And then the run defense, for not having the best personnel in the world, is pretty awesome too. So elite defense. What holds me back a little, it's not C.J. Stroud himself, but Nick Caley, the offensive coordinator with the Houston Texans specifically, sometimes gets over his head, and he'll use this weird receiver rotation with Xavier Hutchinson, Braxton Berrios, Jared Wayne, Christian Kirk, rotating in with Jalen Noel and Jaden Higgins. I think they should play Nico Thomas, Jaden Higgins, and Jalen Noel and be freaking done with it, but that's not how they operate. Dalton Schultz, really underrated tight end. So it's nothing about the offense himself, C.J. Stroud and the offense themselves. It's really about the offensive line's pretty weak, and it's really about Nick Caley more so than anything else as the offensive play caller and offensive coordinator. I don't think he's very good. But number 8, I have the Philadelphia Eagles. I think people give way too much hate to Jalen Hurts. He's been at 2 Super Bowls, played phenomenal, both of them, lost the first one, won the second one. So whatever you think of Jalen Hurts, he's a winner. Whatever you think of Nick Sirianni, he's a winner. That defense is awesome. Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, arguably the best defensive tackle duo in the NFL. They're a little weak on the edge. I do like what I've seen, though, from Jalen Hunt and Nolan Smith. Brandon Graham, very limited snaps coming out of retirement. But that secondary is where it's at. At the safety spot, they got Marcus Epps and Reed Blankenship. Ideally, Marcus Epps is a special team or third safety type, but he's been outperforming, I feel like. In the slot, you have Cooper DeJean, who's literally just awesome. He's awesome. And then outside corner, Quinyon Mitchell. The other outside corner, Adoree Jackson, is pretty rough. He has been improving a bit lately, but I love their defense. On the offensive side of the ball, they don't run the ball very well, but it is Saquon, so he could literally erupt at any moment. The tush push hasn't been working for them over the last month or so, weirdly enough, I should say, rather. Sorry about that. But yeah, I don't know. Saquon hasn't been running the ball, but he could literally erupt, literally and figuratively at any moment. I like A.J. Brown when they do pass the ball. Not a ton, but I do when they do pass the ball. Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, very underrated tight end. So they have playmakers all over the place. It's just, can Jalen Hurts be consistent as a passer? Can Nick Sirianni coach well? Because I know he doesn't have his fans. I'm a huge fan of him personally in the playoffs. So, yeah. And then, I should have said Eagles. So Eagles at 8, all the way up to number 1, who I won't reveal it now. From here on up, I should have mentioned it. From here on up, including the Eagles at number 8, I view these teams as true Super Bowl contenders, varying degrees, obviously, with some younger teams in any way, shape, or form. 8 Eagles. Number 7, Jacksonville Jaguars. Trevor Lawrence. Like, you might have forgotten about it, but I didn't. He has a playoff win already under his belt, under Doug Peterson, surprisingly enough, when they were down 27-0 to the Chargers in the 2022/23 playoffs, where they came back from down 27-0. That's why Justin Herbert's 0-2 in the playoffs, unfortunately. But, I mean, this hasn't been about BTJ on offense. This hasn't been about Brian Thomas Jr. Trevor Lawrence, everyone's contributing. They could trade for Jacoby Myers. He's been awesome. Parker Washington, year 3, is finally breaking out. Bretton Strange, a very underrated tight end. But Brian Thomas Jr., if they get him to explode in the playoffs, literally and figuratively, might I add, then that will be another dimension. In their defense, their pass defense is so-so, but their run defense is elite. Arik Armstead, Devon Hamilton is a true run-stuffing nose tackle, as elite of a run-stuffer as they come in the NFL. Liam Cohen, first-year head coach, we'll see, but he calls plays on offense, so that's good. Number 6, Buffalo Bills. I wanted to have them higher. Obviously, look behind me. Ding, ding. There you go. Bills Mafia. I mean, it's got to be our year, right? I say that every year, and then I start crying, collapsing. But yeah, it's Josh Allen and James Cook, and that's literally it in offense. Khalil Shakir's good. Okay, for what he is, he's good. 700 something receiving yards this year, but he's like ideally a third option on a lot of teams. Josh Palmer ain't cutting it. He's always hurt. Curtis Samuel, I don't even want to talk about. Mecole Hardman, don't talk about. Tyrell Shavers, he needs the ball more. Special teams or not, he needs the ball more. These weapons are very limited. And then defense with McDermott's calling, they probably had the best defensive performance of their life in Week 18 against the Jets. Yes, it's against the Jets. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, and the Eagles, more specifically, was that, Week 17, the week before against the Philadelphia Eagles. But neither here nor there. Because I'm worried about this offense and the pass rush, but I think Rousseau and Buss will be fine in the postseason as a whole. Overall, I'm really worried about this offense. I mean, Josh Allen has nobody to throw to. Like, it's embarrassing. Brandon Beane, thanks for going off in the radio show, buddy, back in May, but like, for all intents and purposes, you've made an ass of yourself. So, congratulations. I want to play really badly if you cannot tell. But yeah, I think he's been too complacent. But everyone says, there's no Lamar, there's no Burrow, there's no Mahomes, Josh Allen, looking at you, there's no excuses anymore. Can everyone please just, do you hear yourselves talking right now? I'm sorry, I don't mean to go worked up and spend some more time on this than I need to, but do you hear the words that are coming out of your mouth right now? Football is a team sport. Last time I checked, there were 11 guys in the field on offense, 11 guys in the field on defense, 11 on 11. Let's go out and play the game. It's not Josh Allen, 1 versus 11. It's not 2 versus 10. It's 11 versus 11. So everyone with that narrative can calm their ass down. I'm sorry, I'm getting so mad, but it is what it is. I can't stand it. But I have them at number 6 because the pass rush could disappear. Josh Allen could have no one to throw to again. I was really excited for Josh Palmer, but he's literally always hurt. So number 5, this pains me to do this. Jeez. Right above the Buffalo Bills, I have the New England Patriots at number 5. I'll admit it, Stephon Diggs has had a really good season. He went over the first game against the Bills. He had 133 receiving yards and a touchdown. I get it, blah, blah, blah. But make fun of it all you want. But they have a great defense. Milton Williams is back. So it's a borderline elite run defense once again with Milton Williams, Kyrus Tonga, and Christian Barmore, obviously. And then their corner trio, Marcus Jones in the slot. He's an animal on special teams as well as a returner. I mean, look the hell out. And then on the outside, you have Christian Gonzalez and Carlton Davis, who I think Carlton Davis, people say, he fell off because he's old. I still think he's underrated. Christian Gonzalez, he's an all-pro caliber corner. Stick around for next week to see my all-pro teams here on YouTube as well. Just like and subscribe while we're at it on the topic. But yeah, unfortunately, the thing with me is I don't have any qualms or worries with Mike Vrabel in the playoffs, but how will Drake May do in the playoffs? How will his weapons do in the playoffs? Aside of Stephon Diggs, I guess Hunter Henry's fine for tight end for what he is, but outside of Stephon Diggs, will someone else step up? Will Kayshon Boutte step up coming back from a concussion? Highly doubt it, but we'll see. Mac Hollins is on IR, so really they only have Stephon Diggs and Hunter Henry, and that's about it for proven guys. They have other gadget guys like Pop Douglas and Kyle Williams, and Kayshon Boutte is going to have to step up, but I just don't know if that will happen. I think the key to success for them is Travion Henderson, Ramondre, who cares about him? Whatever. But I know Mike Vrabel loves him. I don't. Travion Henderson, use him in the passing game especially. I think that's the key for them. It pains me to do it, but Patriots are at 5. At number 4, on bye this week, I have the Seattle Seahawks, the NFC West. Spoiler alert, you can already tell by now, 3 of the 4 top teams are from the NFC West. But at number 4 are the Seattle Seahawks. That defense is nasty under Mike McDaniel. Safety duo, awesome. Kobe Bryant will come back. They also have Nick and Worry. They also have Julian Love. They can move Eamon Worry down at linebacker, slot corner, box safety, free safety, strong safety, near line scrimmage, whatever the hell they want to do, he can do it. Outside corners, Reek Woolen's playing, Josh Jobe is playing. They're outplaying their talent for sure because it's not like they're big household names. And then on the interior, at defensive tackle, they have Leonard Williams and Byron Murphy, who's taken a huge jump and stride, if you will, in year two. At defensive end, I mean, they got depth. Uchenna Nwosu, Derek Hall, Boye Mafe, who I think is really underrated. Free agents, obviously, might end. Maybe a Bills target. Wink, wink. But yeah, on offense, I love JSN. They don't pass the ball a ton. They don't have to because they also have Kenneth Walker. In much to my chagrin and begrudgingly, they have Zach Charbonnet, who steals goal line carries from Kenneth Walker. Very annoying. It's very annoying fan this year. But from real life perspective, they have a really good, underrated 1-2 punch at running back. Someone I feel like will have to step up as that second/third receiver outside of JSN. Maybe it's Rashid Shaheed. Maybe it's Cooper Kupp, whatever the shell of that is anymore. We'll see. But Sam Darnold, I don't know how he'll do in the playoffs. He crumbles when the pressure's on, like literally and figuratively. So yeah. Number 3, I have the Denver Broncos also on bye. Is Bo Nix kind of a victim of the occasional boneheaded, like, what the hell are you doing, Bo? Come on. Yes, he throws interceptions. He fumbles the ball from time to time, but their receiver group is really underrated. I'm someone who really loves Cortland Sutton. Pat Bryant's been coming on. Troy Franklin took a step in year 2, literally a speedy downfield threat. I don't think Evan Ingram, the ghost of whatever that is, he's about to be 31. That's not really anything about. But defense, their corner group is awesome. It's really deep too. Pat Surtain, Riley Moss, Jahdae Barron, Jaquan McMillan in the slot. Their safety duo. Talanoa Ufanga, Brandon Jones, PJ Locke. They have depth everywhere. Linebackers, Justin Sternad's outplayed who he is. Dre Greenlaw's had some nice moments. Although he's been injured and suspended a lot too, but Dre Greenlaw's had some nice moments. And then that pass rush, Nick Bonito is literally a sack waiting to happen. Shot out of a cannon. Jonathan Cooper, although he's kind of older and up there in age, he's really, really impressed me as a specialized pass rusher. Defensive tackle, DJ Jones, one of the best run-stuffing defensive tackles, even though he's undersized in the NFL. Zach Hanlon, I mean, the dude's just a machine as a pass rusher and a really huge run stuffer. So I really like all those guys. And I think their offense will be underrated, and their offensive line has been excellent. At number 2, I have the San Francisco 49ers. I know this doesn't make sense. Aiden, why would you have the Seahawks at 4 and the 49ers at 2? The 49ers just lost the Seahawks. Well, I just trust Brock Purdy in the postseason more than I trust Sam Darnold in the postseason. That's what it comes down to. And I think Robert Saleh is an excellent defensive coordinator. Now, I don't agree with him getting a new head coach job with all these interviews, but for defensive coordinator, excellent. Lost Nick Bosa, lost Fred Warner. Let's see. Lost Micah Williams, their first-round pick. I mean, he's lost a bunch. Defensive tackles, very minimal talent there, unfortunately. But corner, second-year player, Renardo Green's been awesome. First-year slot corner as a rookie, Upton Stout's been awesome. And they lost Talanoa Ufanga and Dre Greenlaw in free agency, and they've lost about 3 or 4 more linebackers in addition to Fred Warner as well. They just had to sign Kaiser White because of it. And Brandon Ayuk, he went kind of cuckoo there. Woo. And then that kind of went off the deep end, but I mean, the flip flopped me. But yeah, Ricky Pearsall's been out, injuries. George Kittle injured, Juwan Jennings injured before the season. He was upset with his contract. I think the key here, actually, Christian McCaffrey's offense. I think the key here is like the connection between Brock Purdy and Juwan Jennings. If they can find that spark again, they had their moments this year, but if they can put it all together, I have the 49ers at number 2. Again, I trust Brock Purdy much more in the postseason, and I trust Sam Darnold. I know it was the reverse effect when they played last week for the division. And then number 1, the Los Angeles Rams. Crazy to think, but the Rams freaking finished 3rd in the NFC West. But I think Matthew Stafford is destined for the Super Bowl this year. I think he's finally going to get. I have to think on it more, but he's probably going to be my MVP when I release that video next week. But I mean, him and Puka, him and Devontae. I really like the tight. They use 3 tight ends, but like all are really good. They use Tyler Higbee. That's not really good anymore. But Terrence Ferguson, Davis Allen, Colby Parkinson, who they got under contract for a couple more years as well. They're all underrated. They're all really contributing as well. And that defensive line, they're all young and extremely athletic. On the inside, Kobe Turner going along with a veteran and Puna Ford to replace Bobby Brown from last year. Byron Young and Jared Verse off the edge. I mean, as twitched up as they come. And then their secondary, yeah, their corners could be better, but I think Darius Williams, although he's like 32, damn near 33 years old at this point, I think he's more than capable, more than fine. I love Quentin Lake. They use him at safety in the slot mainly. I love Cam Kinchins, although he's very slow and limited athletically, but his coverage ability is really nice. Cam Curl has had a nice bounce back season. I just think the Rams are destined. And it's not like they have the best offensive line talent in the world, but it's coming along really, really nicely. Rob Havenstein's been on IR basically for the last half of the season, but maybe they'll get him back. But yeah, those are my power rankings, 14-1. Again, pretty straightforward, but in case, number 14 is the team that I have the least confidence in and think is the weakest going to wildcard weekend. Number 1, obviously, is the best, and vice versa, Super Bowl contenders for all that. We will update this for divisional wildcard and then update it for the divisional championship weekend and then the 2 teams in the Super Bowl. So yeah, tune in very soon for my actual picks or wildcard weekend. Straight up picks, no like betting or money line or anything, just straight up picks. It's going to be really, really fun. Just pay attention to the Around the Slice YouTube channel. To get some things out of the way, you can follow me on Twitter at @Weingartner13. You can find instant reaction to news. All the GM and head coach chaos has been going on. Free agency, the draft is coming up within the next handful of months. I'll be locked in on that for sure. So you can follow me on Twitter /X at @Weingartner13. Tune into this all off season long, basically, to this YouTube channel Around the Slice once again for these videos. Thank you for the support as always. My name is Aiden, and I will see you in the next one. Have a great day. Enjoy wildcard weekend. It's going to be a ton of fun. Goodbye.